Venga, madre, güey. Quiero comerte el culo.
It's pork week, and I'm running a shitload of experiments on pork. You motherfucker, Chris.
Why did I immediately just hear a smoke alarm? Was that a soundboard?
He made it
Yeah,
his like
what-
server intro sound.
You bet.
So every time I enter, it plays.
That's horrendous.
That's
bro.
so
What's
bad.
so funny? In one of my other servers I was in, they were talking about like racial. It's full of a bunch of liberal people, but they're honestly just like fun to hang out with as long as
Yeah.
politics doesn't come up. And they were talking about like racial disparity in the U.S. And then I join, and that goes off. And they're like, "Oh my fucking god!"
Oh man. What were you saying, Thomas?
It's pork week, so I'm
pork
running.
week.
I'm running like a shitload of pork experiments. I've got like one marinating in ponzu. I've got one marinating in like rib rub. I've got one marinating in mirin and all that shit. And I'm just gonna cook it throughout the week and fucking
Nice.
see which one's best. And I'm so fucking
Bro, you
excited.
making my fucking dick hard right now.
Yeah, you know you better keep that shit hard because it's pork week. And
I finally did I revisited the Colby, what was it called? Dangerous Job or whatever. That
Extreme
movie where they
Job.
made- yeah, I revisited the Extreme Job chicken recipe,
Did you nail it?
and I did this time. Although I kind of messed up on the frying because I'm not used to using a deep fryer. But remember last time we made it, it was a chicken thigh on the bone, and I didn't
Yeah.
cook it all the way. So I did boneless, skinless chicken thighs this time, and I seasoned the fuck out of the flour, like the fry powder,
Yeah.
and I seasoned the fuck out of the marinade, and I actually marinated the chicken thighs in that for like 30 minutes before I made it.
Hell yeah.
I found out through Bryce because he's like, worked in kitchens and like he knows how to use deep fryers and stuff. So I fried it and it became golden brown, and then I pulled it out and it was like raw on the inside. So I had to go back and like fry it again. He told me afterwards, you have to fry stuff on a low temp when there's cornstarch because the cornstarch browns up so fast
Yeah.
that the chicken doesn't have time to cook all the way. So that's where I fucked up both times. But this time I was able to save it because it was boneless. But
Speaking of
dude,
food
the
experience.
sauce was so good. What do you have?
So it doesn't pertain to me, but it does pertain to my dog. So we have.
You ate your dog.
No, he's half pit, half black lab. He just looks like a black lab. Like, in his
Pertains
jaw
to my dog. You ate him.
Last we got him weighed, which was last June. He was 81 pounds.
A big
So
dog.
he's a big dog. He's a big dog. He's very healthy. Like, he doesn't have a ton of fat on him. But here lately, me and Bree have just been taking skinless, boneless chicken thighs and pressure cooking them and shredding them. And every few meals, we'll give him a portion of cooked chicken thigh.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gained about 10 pounds in just straight up fucking muscle.
Hell yeah.
Dude,
That's
I'm
bad.
making my dog a fucking bodybuilder. He's so strong now.
Kibble
Like,
is
I
just
could
like-
barely play tug of war with him.
Kibble is literally just like goy slop carbohydrates. It's like greasy carbs.
I'm babysitting a little like 11-week-old Rottweiler right now. He's cute. He's a cute little bastard, but you can tell that those things were literally just meant for the purpose of ripping the limbs off of people.
Yeah.
Because he's 11 weeks old. He's like 2 feet tall. He's not very big, but holy fuck, he does not have play bites. His play bites are like just meat grinder bites, dude. It freaking sucks.
I could tell Guinness has like all of the natural instinct to hunt things on his own in him. Because if we get him like a toy to play with, he skins it, discards the skin, like as one whole item, and then eats everything that was inside of the skin.
Oh my
Oh,
gosh,
shit.
he's field dressing his toys.
Yeah, he field dresses and fucking just devours the insides.
That's the pit. That's the pit in him, man. He got that pit.
I don't know. I don't know. I think it's the lab because like he would genuinely be the best hunting dog if he was trained for it. Because he learns shit so well, and he's so like calm and quiet if you tell him to stay. But if he doesn't have a job to do, if he doesn't have anything to do,
Yeah.
he has that pit energy. So he's loud as fuck, attacking me because I roughhouse with him.
A lab will, intelligently hunt things and bring them to you, whatever. A pit bull will lay down Visqueen and turn the fucking lights off and like kill you slowly with a scalpel.
Yeah. Dude.
Smoke a Newport while it's doing it.
Yeah.
When I was duck hunting the other week, me and Wynn were up at our grandfather's place, and Michael, you know the legends of.
Yeah.
But he was up there hunting with us, and he brought a hunting dog. And one night we were just sitting there like watching whatever stupid ass NFL game was on at the time, and he was like, "Oh dang, I forgot to put the dog to bed." And he pointed at the dog bed and just went, "Sleep." And the dog ran over to the bed and immediately schlumped.
No way.
Oh my God,
Yeah. I was like,
I gotta
holy
try that on
shit.
Hedda, dude.
My buddy Garrett, who's now the youth pastor of my like hometown church, he had a dog that it was a hunting dog, but it was also like their family dog, so it was so confused on what to do all the time. And he had taught it to pray before it eats. Like he would put his food down and he'd go, all right, bow your head. And the dog would like put his paws out and touch its head to the ground. And he would pray. And whenever he said amen, the dog would like pop up and eat its food.
That is ridiculous.
And it was the coolest shit I ever saw.
I've seen some
That dog was like,
videos
"Man,
of people
fuck me."
doing that, and like they'll have videos of like this woman goes over and puts food in the dog bowl, and is like, "Okay, go ahead and eat," and the dog like gets upset that they haven't prayed yet.
Oh,
The dog literally has no idea what's going on.
Yeah,
He just thinks that we're supposed to put our hands together before we eat a little dog.
so ours, Guinness, he won't eat unless we tell him okay. Like we could pour
funny.
food in his bowl and walk off and go do whatever we want, and he'll sit there and just fucking drool staring at the bowl until we tell
That's a
him okay.
well-trained dog, bro.
Yeah, Bree did a really fucking good job with him. But like
Okay.
it was kind of starting to slip when I moved in, so I had to put like the dominant, aggressive, authoritative hand on him.
Yeah. He's like, man, this bitch ain't gonna smack me around or nothing.
And then he didn't listen to me one time, and I slapped the shit out of him, and he's been good ever since.
All right, y'all want to go ahead and get started? I don't know how long Andrew's gonna take, and I kind of have to be quick about it.
Okay, yeah, sure.
I do
So, topic manly movies. Michael, what's the best manly movie or your favorite manly movie?
Man, you already know. You already know what I'm coming with.
You're gonna say John Wick.
No. Black Rain. All right.
Ah,
Look,
I'm
Black
unfamiliar.
Rain is a gem, and it's not very well known. It's from 1989. It's Michael Douglas and some Italian guys, like the supporting actor. He's like nobody really knows him, but you recognize when you see him. Anyway, Michael Douglas plays an NYC PD detective in the late 80s with a mullet and a leather jacket and aviators and a hog, and he's divorced, and he drops his son off on the weekend on his hog.
God
And his
damn, I
wife
want to crack open
hates
a beer.
him. Dude, yes. And so
this movie makes me want to drink.
Yeah, that's the
He-
purpose of a man movie.
correct. He goes to work, precinct, whatever. It's late 80s, New York City. You get the picture. Chases some people through a meatpacking facility with the hanging Rocky Balboa punchy bag beef, and it's steamy because it's cold. And these guys have like Mac 11s or whatever. They're Japanese and they're wearing like leather trench coats or some shit, and dark sunglasses. The Yakuza came to New York City for whatever reason, and then he gets this criminal, and they're like, all right, we got to extradite him to Japan. So you and your Dago partner are taking this Jap back to the island. They go there on a plane, and then the Yakuza does some like secret agent stuff and like gets the prisoner. So 2 American New York City cops show up in Tokyo, and they're immediately racist. And like immediately they don't give a fuck about anything cultural.
Hell yeah.
The Japanese cops are like, we got to take your guns. Anyway, I'm going through the whole plot just to get to the point that it's like a fish out of water thing with New York City cops. But then like the movie is just so good. Everything about it, the cinematography, the soundtrack, it's like cool kind of like Blade Runner-y kind of looking stuff, and it's weird because it's an action movie, but then it gets really emotional. The guy's partner dies at the hand of like a Japanese biker gang, like Akira. And the main character, Michael Douglas, is like alone, and he's like, I'm gonna wear a gun. I don't give a fuck. And there's this whole side plot where he's like kind of a corrupt cop. He makes best buddies, but also they hate each other with a Japanese detective played by Ken Watanabe. And they go fight the Yakuza and all this kind of stuff and eat ramen. And there's just like these beautiful, every car is black. They're all like Toyota Corollas, Lexuses, these saloon cars, these like Japanese business cars from the 80s. There's big machine gun fights at the Yakuza headquarters, all this kind of stuff. And then there's just this one very cool scene where this old Yakuza guy starts referencing the atomic bomb because he's face to face with a New Yorker, and he's like, here's my chance to be like, you guys fucked up my country. And that's where the title Black Rain comes from, because he says like, you made it rain black. I don't like Americans. It's a really badass movie. Also directed by Ridley Scott. Forgot to mention that.
Ooh, I do love me some Ridley Scott.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's one of those directors that's like widely gone less and less popular as we've moved forward.
Mm-hmm.
And every time I watch a Ridley Scott movie, I'm just like, this is really fucking well directed. Yeah. And all the cinematography is like, yeah.
Yeah, I was very upset with Napoleon. Very, very upset.
Blade Runner, timeless classic. Probably my favorite movie besides Raising Arizona.
More like Blade
Alien.
Thumber.
Dude, Alien is one of those movies that, like, to this day, my heart rate increases by at least 70 beats per minute every time I watch it.
Yeah. Also, the soundtrack that's really good, it's a Hans Zimmer soundtrack, but it's like Asian synth. So it's like, it's just so cool. It sounds like a fighting game soundtrack or something.
What are our thoughts on Hans Zimmer? Does the hive mind dictate we hate him, or?
I don't know. I can't hate him. Like, I want to, but I can't. Because
yeah.
I know he gets like interns or whatever to write his music for him, but every Hans Zimmer soundtrack is amazing.
Honestly, I kind of equate him to like the Dwayne Johnson of the orchestral world. Yeah. Because like all of his music sounds exactly the same. Big bursting fucking tubas and trombones and low hits and everything.
So appropriate.
And then a pause and then a big ass bassy thunder drum and then but it's great. It's fantastic.
Yeah,
I love his music. It's so good.
That's what I love.
It genuinely
about this
just
movie.
fills in the pocket for whatever film it's in.
Yeah. Like it fits really well with Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah.
It's adventurous, whatever. This movie
also Interstellar. I think that, in my opinion, I know everyone hates Interstellar. I like Interstellar. We've discussed this so many times.
Everyone loves Interstellar except for us.
Yeah. I wouldn't even say I love it. I like it because of the emotions I feel when I watch it. It's enjoyable without being a good movie.
But that soundtrack...
The soundtrack is really fucking well made for that movie. Like, it's what drives the emotional content in it, in my opinion. So maybe I just like the soundtrack, not as much the movie.
that famous, like the big swelling, whatever part
Yeah.
of that on the last Top Gear special, One for the
Dude,
Road, they were
yeah.
going over Victoria Falls on the bridge, and they played that Interstellar soundtrack.
Made me get a little misty, I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah,
One for the Road made me get a little misty, man. That was such a good special. Anyway, if you were to compare Black Rain to a meaty dish in its quality and enjoyment, what would that
And I
meaty
throw a
dish be?
caveat into the meat dish for this recording.
I'm
Sure.
already gonna follow it probably.
It is pork week, so my
Yeah.
notion is it has to be a pork dish.
I
Oh,
was
okay.
already right there.
Oh, fuck. All right. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I gotta go with tonkatsu rice bowl.
Appropriate.
Mm-hmm.
What do they call it? Tonkatsu don or something like
Yeah.
that.
Hmm.
Well,
Because-
there's katsudon and then tonkatsu is the like fried over rice with the like sauce on top.
Yes, because it's good, but it's not like A5 Wagyu or something like that. But this was probably a lot of people in 1989. It's probably a lot of people's first like real glimpse into Japan that wasn't just like some like ninja crap. It was like it's like wow, there's some cultural significance here,
Yeah.
but still not the best thing around.
Yeah. You can watch Akira and be gay, and then you can watch Evangelion and become even gayer. Or
Cut
you
and
could,
kill yourself.
yeah, or you could watch Black Rain and be fucking awesome and a Chad.
Yeah,
So which one are you
exactly.
gonna fucking pick, you bum loser shithead?
I suggest Black Rain followed immediately by the original Blade Runner.
Yeah,
Just judging off of the pictures I'm seeing, it looks very cinematography wise similar. I don't know
same
why I had trouble
director.
saying that. Yeah.
Well, Chris, what's your shit gonna be, eh?
Okay. You know how I always like fuck up the overall like form everything's supposed to be in?
Yeah.
I have 3 really high potential movies. And I'm not going to talk at length about any of them, but I think I know which one is my favorite. But the other 2, just like when I think of man movies, they come to mind.
Okay,
So, like, number 3 for me would be Mudbound. I don't know if you've watched it.
I've never even heard of that.
Mudsling?
No, Mudbound.
The Mississippi Mud.
No.
That's our new baseball team.
Oh,
the
dude, it's
Mississippi
so
Mud
bad.
Monsters.
So, Mudbound, it's on Netflix. I would encourage you to watch it. 2017 film, directed by Dee Reese. I don't know anything else that they've done. Written by him and Virgil Williams. It's based on a 2008 novel by the same name. Only really notable person, in my opinion, who plays in it is 2 notable people. There's Jason Clarke. He was one of the main boys in Zero Dark 30
Mm.
and in Lawless. And Mary J. Blige is in it as well.
Also, Mike Ehrmantraut, it looks like, is in it.
Not certain.
Not the. That's the character.
Oh
So,
yeah.
in Breaking Bad.
Yeah. Essentially, this well-to-do man, Jason Clarke, marries this woman who's kind of in love with his brother, who gets shipped off to World War II. And in the meantime, he just like they finish fucking, and he's like, "Hey, I bought a farm down in Mississippi. We're moving there in 2 weeks."
It does have to do with Mississippi. Anything with the name Mud in it. It just
Yeah. So
We
they
do
get
have
there.
abundance of mud.
He gets to the door of this like beautiful plantation home, and a guy answers, and he's like, "Hey, I'm the new tenant. I bought this from so and so 2 weeks ago." And they're like, "Well, I just bought it from him a week ago. I suggest y'all get on now." And they're like, "Fuck, we don't have enough space in any of the inns in town, so we're gonna go stay in one of the old slave houses on the farm." And there's still a black family working as sharecroppers for this farm. And when they get out there, a whole bunch of racial tension occurs, and his brother winds up coming in, and like the oldest son of this black family was also shipped off to war. And it's honestly just one of those movies like where once you start it, you're kind of just sucked in, and you really want to see how everything plays out.
Michael,
And
that is the grossest text I've received in a long time. Oh, okay.
I
Sorry,
sent
go
him a
ahead.
picture of the movie
it's a good
poster
film.
with
Yeah,
Mike Ehrmantraut, and
Yeah.
I said Mudfinger.
oh my
If
god.
you know a thing or two about Mike.
No.
A kid named
Um,
Finger.
So the dude who's Mike Ehrmantraut, he's Jason Clarke and old World War II pilot's dad, and he is the most racist person on
Yeah,
the
doesn't he
planet,
say the N word in the movie? I think I've seen that clip.
like 10,000 times.
They try to come into a store, and he's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah, I've
Well,
seen
yeah,
that."
that's the oldest son of the black family. Just gets back from war, and he's like stopping to buy some shit for his family because they're poor ass sharecroppers. And Mike stops him and calls him the N word, and is like, "You have to use the back door." And I mean, like, it's a heartrending movie at the least, but it is one of those movies where the whole notion of it is like, let's look at racial tensions in
Yeah.
the early 1900s in
So you're telling
Mississippi.
me that it's about Mississippi and there's racists in it?
Right,
I've
right.
never seen a single racist in Mississippi.
Inaccurate. L movie. Chat L movie. Everybody spam L movie, please.
My number 2 pick would be Whiplash.
Okay.
Me and Thomas have talked about Whiplash at length. I made Bree watch it with me one day, and she was like, I think I had an anxiety attack throughout the entire course of the movie, which is
Yeah.
very accurate to how I felt when I first watched it. It's really hard to watch. I watched it because I saw clips of J. Jonah Jameson going absolutely fucking nuts on Miles Teller, and I thought it was fucking funny.
Get the fuck out of this room or I will fuck you like a pig.
Yeah, I thought it was funny as fuck, but then when I watched it, I was like, "This is not funny." I don't know what I was
It's a depressing
expecting.
film.
Yeah.
Yeah, super depressing, super uplifting. The soundtrack is phenomenal.
Fuck you mean uplifting? The bad guy wins.
No, at the end, it is uplifting in my opinion.
The bad guy
'Cause-
wins in the end.
Right, but also at the same time, I think it's more of a concession. I think Miles Teller's character has accepted the hardship that occurred. He's moved on from it. He's realized his place in this world, and he's overcome all of this adversity that old Baldy was throwing at him the whole time. And I find that to be uplifting. It's strength of character over the adversity that was placed upon him.
Jazz musicians are supposed to be sweaty black guys with unkempt beards that smoke with green cigarettes that smell funny and
Yeah.
play funny music at midnight in Europe and
And-
have sex with white women.
And either ridiculously fat or like malnutrition out the
Okay,
ass, like
skinny.
Yeah.
deformed skinny, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, what's your third movie?
My number 1 man movie of all time. It is a crowd favorite amongst us. No Country for Old Men.
Yeah. There you go.
Yes, anytime I'm like I want to watch something comforting and that like solidifies my existence as a man, I watch No Country for Old Men. Javier Bardem, fucking Tommy Lee Jones, just them two on screen running around. One of them not really talking, the other one talking for the majority of the movie. It just feels right. The dialogue's well done. The scene is just immaculate every time.
There's a
think it's a great
movie. There is a performance where Javier Bardem is more horrifying.
Dude, send it. Send it my way.
It's
ASAP.
literally the Menendez brothers thing that came out on Netflix last year.
Really?
Yes, because Javier Bardem plays the dad.
Oh
And
yeah, I heard he was a
it's just
piece of fucking shit.
It's about him just being like, I my sons, my little boys, and I justify it.
Ugh.
Like it's insane. He's like a fucking bastard in that movie, or it's a show, but
Fuck.
If I had to equate No Country for Old Men to a pork dish, I think it would be wet cracklings.
all right, right there on the border.
Hmm.
Right there on the border. They're tasty. They got some punch to them. You enjoy them, but you hesitate every time you go for one because it's a little icky.
Mm.
That thing a bit icky, man.
And there's no music.
Yeah.
Wet Krackens don't have music. Don't have a soundtrack.
I remember you watching that, Chris, in high school, and you were like, "Have you ever seen this?" I was like, "Yeah, great movie. I love how there's no music in it throughout the whole thing." And you had like an existential crisis because
you
you had watched it like 6 times, but you had no clue that there was no music throughout the whole thing.
Tension almost makes you create music in your mind.
Yeah. Anyway,
but it's really just your fucking heartbeat.
Andrew,
what's up?
What's your favorite manly movie?
All right. Are we doing 3 or what is going on here?
No, Chris is just a dumbass.
Yeah, I'm just a dumbass. I'm extra.
Yeah.
I've been hanging out with bleep this out. Too many
Don't bleep it out.
I'm not bleeping that.
bleep it out. Bleep it out.
No.
You say something
Leave
every
it in.
episode, Chris, that you're like, you're gonna need to bleep this, and every time I just don't do it.
We're just replacing the
Leave it in.
Like a few weeks ago, you were like, "Sorry guys, my apartment is getting shot up right now."
Yeah.
I told you could leave it in.
Yeah, I know. It's just so.
Oh, we're
funny
moving,
to
by
me.
the way, because another person died during the snowstorm.
Holy shit!
Like died from
guy,
the snowstorm or died from a bullet?
No. Some kids were throwing snowballs, threw one at a car. So he went down the road, grabbed his gun, came back, and attempted to drive by children having a snowball fight.
Ooh.
And a stray bullet went through a window in the upstairs apartment and killed a man who had moved in a week prior in his sleep.
That could have been you.
You live in
Could've been-
Louisiana, right?
That should
I
have
had
been you.
literally just walked in my door when it happened. I was taking off my shoes and 12 to 15 gunshots.
Get the fuck out of there, dude.
I
Imagine
am.
hearing a MAC-10 just air the place out, and Bree's like, "Oh, Chris is home."
What's crazy is this
That's what you
guy.
needed.
Yeah.
This guy got honorably discharged from the Marines for performing a drive-by 2 years ago.
Oh.
Wait, honorably.
Honorably.
Yeah, I don't get the math behind that one.
I don't either, but must have been chewing on a crayon whilst it happened.
Fent-laced crayon based.
You got it
All right,
from
I got
China.
5 minutes before I have to go do a
All right, Andrew.
DVD record.
All right. Oh shit! Stop talking over me and let me talk. Let me say my shit.
Hurry up, Andrew.
Just
Come on, we
fucking
don't have a lot of time.
One of the best,
Just say it.
most manly men movies ever
Hurry the
created
fuck up.
was
Okay.
Braveheart.
Yes. true.
Braveheart
Yes.
is,
Yeah.
without a doubt, one of the greatest movies ever created. Just makes you want to free Scotland, even if you're not from Scotland.
Yeah, they need it too. They need it bad right now.
Yeah.
And it's just a beautiful, beautiful soundtrack. I mean, put that soundtrack on any other movie, and it's like immediately getting Grammys. Like that shit.
Counterpoint, Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Shut the fuck up.
Literally, I'm going to jog to Louisiana and drop a bowling ball on your fucking head, and then
You're gonna get
pour boiling
Marine
vinegar on your
drive-by.
feet.
And are we
Go snort mustard. That's what a shit take. Anyway, go ahead, Andrew.
But no,
Are
actually,
we equating our movie to pork dishes?
Yeah, it's pork week.
Well, in lieu of it being Scotland, I would need to probably get this right, but a crown roast is pork, correct?
Crown
I
I
roast.
feel like, yeah.
I can think of another.
You know what's funny
thing that's
is
pork.
you
It's Scottish.
always like say the wrong fucking thing when talking about all these meats and dishes and everything. And you're the only motherfucker in here that should know this stuff because you majored.
I don't think about
you
it unless
majored
I'm
in
cooking it.
eating. You majored in being a fat ass in college.
Crown
Well,
roast
look,
is pork.
I don't think about it unless I'm cooking it. So it's just some type of Scottish mash on top of a pork chop.
Yeah, crown roast is pork chops, Andrew.
That's what I fucking thought.
All right, good, very good.
Scottish rumble the thumps.
I don't know what the fuck that is.
Yeah, no one's ever heard of that.
It's the gayest shit I've ever fucking heard.
My two manliest movies, one of these is gonna take some explanation, but number one is gonna be Roadhouse, just
Okay.
because the, injustices of that town and a small dude that has nothing to do with it but goes and gets involved and is like, yeah, time to dish out a can of whoop ass to everybody doing anything wrong. You just, dropped a gum wrapper on the side of the road, I'm ripping your throat out. It's just badass. And, taking down basically the cartel, corruption, fucking Brad Wesley's a piece of shit. Great
Yeah,
movie,
Brad
great
Wesley.
manly movie.
And his doctor girlfriend is hot.
Oh, she's so freaking hot. And Sam Elliott is in it, and he says the double
He's so
douche.
hot.
Yeah.
Double.
A double douche. My second one is the movie Love, Liza. It's Philip Hoffmore Seaman, and his wife just died, and she left him like a letter, and he's losing his damn mind, and he's like doing shit like just pacing around his house aimlessly and like laughing way too hard at jokes in the office at work and everything and just being weird and loses the ability to like know how to interact with people. So he decides to go to a gas station, buy a jerry can, get a shitload of gas, and just start huffing gas all the time and getting really
That's-
fucking high.
Based.
Yeah, and some guy's like, "Hey, why are you buying all this gas?" And he's like, our RC planes. I like RC planes."
Okay.
And they're like, "That shit doesn't take gasoline. It takes like its own little special fuel." And he's like, "Nope. I got ones that take real gas." And through this lie, he actually becomes like addicted to RC vehicles and like wins an RC boat race or some shit. And then from having all these RC vehicles, instead of huffing gas, gets addicted to huffing the specific fuel that's meant for the RC vehicles. And there's these like two teenagers that show up and they're like, "Hey mister, can you buy some gas so we can huff it?" And he's like, "No, fuck off." And then he finally like quits huffing gas, reads the letter and cries his eyes out, and it's really great.
Dang.
But the reason that I think it's a good manly movie is because I feel like if you are a man,
Yes.
I feel like if you are a man and we all are and have the capacity to love shit strongly enough to ruin our lives huffing gas, then
Mhm.
it's, kind of a great, relatable movie to watch. Not that I've ever had my heart broken to the point of, like, my wife dying or something, but, if I was married and my wife died, I would totally just start huffing gas and doing fentanyl and fucking just walking around the house aimlessly. Like, if one of y'all motherfuckers died, I would just start doing that anyway. It's just like really manly sorrow, I guess.
Yeah, that's really
Well,
poignant.
I still have 2 months left in my apartment, so you might be huffing gas soon.
Oh boy,
I hope
I
not.
might be huffing gas tonight. I'm coming. But if I were
You're gonna do
to,
this special RC stuff, or are you just gonna do?
yeah, I'm gonna call Michael and be like, "Hey, I just bought an RC boat," and Michael's gonna know that that means Chris is dead, and I'm addicted to huffing
You're
gas.
huffing remote controlled two-stroke engine
Yeah,
gas.
V2.
Yeah.
But if I were to equate Roadhouse to a meaty dish, a pork dish specifically, it would be chicharron.
Okay.
And if I were to equate Love Liza to a pork dish, I feel like it would probably just be a nice little butterflied little pork loin with like some bacon and cheese in the middle of it that you wrap up and grill.
All right.
Yeah.
Andrew, can you eat those chips a little fucking quieter?
I'm not eating chips. I'm doing dishes.
Can you
Okay.
do those dishes a little bit fucking louder, please? I need white noise. I'm trying to doze off.
Hey,
Oh, fuck you, Andrew.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Hey, Win, what? All right, just in time.
I unfortunately have to go. Goodbye,
Man.
Good night.
I'm also gonna hop off.
Man.
Yeah.
Okay. Win, what's
What
your
have we
favorite
discussed?
manly movie?
I think right now it's Master and Commander. Has anyone said that one yet?
No,
No,
but
but
that's
that's
a
a
good
perfect movie.
It is. There's multiple masculine role models in that movie.
There are
Yeah.
only masculine role models. Even the bad guys in that movie are good role models. Is there a woman in that entire movie? There isn't, is
I don't
there?
think so.
Mm-mm.
That's
Man, that's why
There's
it's
a
a
part
perfect movie.
where they pull up on some natives and there's like 5 seconds of them in canoes. But I think that's the only time.
ah,
I don't think they let women in canoes in
yeah.
America.
In the indigenous tribes, women have been fighting for their rights to be able to get into a canoe for their entire existence. Still haven't won it yet because they don't have the power of social media and the English language. But if you were to compare Master and Commander to specifically a pork dish, what would that pork dish be?
Let me think. A pork pate that comes in an MRE. That's what I would
Nice.
say.
The pork pate with cognac.
Yes, so it's not necessarily a dish unto itself, but it completes the meal,
Yeah, you need
and
shit's
it'll
biscuit.
survive sinking
Yeah, spread that
with
shit
thinking
over
about the
some
tin cans.
like pirate hardtack and just go to town on that. It'd be great.
Boll weevils and all.
Yeah, wash it down with a little bit of Galapagos tortoise meat stew.
Dude, I think about this constantly, but in the Heart of Darkness, there's like some natives, and I think they're cannibals, but they're like hanging out on the boat of the main character, and he constantly talks about how the only thing they brought to eat was rotten hippo meat.
Ooh,
That is the most disgusting thing.
that's
I feel like I would
fucked.
have remembered that.
What do you?
I need to reread that. I also want to read Moby Dick.
The
That's why I
trouble,
was thinking about Captain
the
Arab.
trouble that it takes. Fuck, you said that earlier today, but it still hits hard. Um, the trouble that you have to go through to kill a hippo and get its
Yeah.
meat just to let it fucking rot.
It's like Ark
Pieces.
Survival Evolved or
Oh
something.
yeah, I didn't
Yeah.
even think about that. That's like I mean, it's not an easy kill, a hippo, especially if you're primitive.
Yeah. It's like they don't know how to salt, like the easiest thing ever. Smoke it, salt it. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's not that deep.
Yeah,
Man.
I'm pretty sure in Africa, salt, you just like find it on the ground.
Yeah, like gold and silver. It's
Yeah.
just like in the dirt.
Laying all over the place. Go to Botswana for like 15 seconds, you're immediately rich as balls.
Yeah. They don't even know it's valuable.
Yeah. They're sitting there like, oh, yellow earth.
Yeah.
Probably shouldn't fuck with that.
I want to add at the end of this, because Master and Commander reminded me of this. I'm in the middle of watching John Adams, the miniseries on HBO, 2008. Paul Giamatti
Oh,
plays
yeah.
John Adams. Paul Giamatti's like one of my favorite actors. He might be like number 2 or 3. Ray Fiennes, Paul Giamatti.
Oh yeah.
Anyway,
Have you seen Conclave?
no, I need to watch it.
Go on.
Have you watched Conclave yet?
Yes, I would recommend it to all of us.
Okay. But anyway, John Adams. It's so good. HBO does not miss. I mean, HBO does miss, but like any wartime miniseries, HBO does not miss. We know this.
HBO doesn't miss anyway because they made a show where you get to see Zendaya's so
Well,
that's not a miss.
I'm actually not interested. Sorry.
I have. You're right though, Michael. I've only heard good things about the John Adams show. I don't know why I've never gotten around to seeing it. I think it seemed weird that it was Paul Giamatti.
but he's perfect. Because
I can
have you
believe it. I
seen the
just don't
portrait of John
appreciate
Adams?
his work very much.
Paul Giamatti is like 10,000 times more attractive than the portrait of John Adams. But the reason I think it's really manly because he is like a middling Boston lawyer, colonial Boston lawyer, and the first thing he does in the like scope of revolutionary history is defend in court the accused redcoats that fired into the crowd at the Boston Massacre because no one else will defend them.
Oh,
And
that's
he
cool.
gets most of them off, and two of them
Tua.
he gets them off like of the murder charge. And then
So even at a time when everyone was getting all riled up, he still
Yeah.
let cooler heads prevail.
two of them just got like manslaughter and they got branded or whatever. But anyway, he actually got a lot of respect from doing that and like sticking to his guns on like the law and
Yeah,
rights.
having principles.
Yes. And his cousin Sam Adams is like incendiary, but then like just the scope of things politically like start to push them towards a middle ground and stuff. Anyway, the whole time he's like away at the Continental Congress and he's like a voice of reason and he's very passionate about human rights and the fact that they like are derived from God and they're not derived from the crown. But his wife is at home like taking care of all of his kids and running the farm because he can't practice law, so they have no income, so they just have to eke out an existence on the land while he's away in Philadelphia playing politics or whatever. And I'm like halfway through maybe, but it's just so good. And Abigail Adams is just amazing.
Benjamin Franklin also came up to John Adams and was like, the national bird should be a turkey. And John Adams was like, shut the fuck up. Eagles rule.
Yeah.
What's wrong with you? And there was some other fucker, I forget who it was. It may have been like Thomas Jefferson or something that suggested some other. It was like a cardinal to be the national bird.
Yeah.
Cardinals are
Woodcock.
pussies.
Jefferson is played by Stannis Baratheon in the movie.
Oh, that's pretty cool.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not a movie, but it's very manly for like, and my Presbyterianism is showing here, but just these greater questions of human rights, the dignity of man as created in the image of God, and doing all of that, hashing all of that out at like a societal level, while you trying to balance the fact that you have a wife and children that depend on you. And he's like a little funny looking guy, but he has like a wonderful family and they just love him and support him and stuff. And it's like, it's made in 2008, that's before a lot of the woke stuff, but still, it's a very conservative film.
Yeah.
Or show.
I'm going to have to check that out. Too bad HBO Max is like $590 every 14 minutes.
That's
Yeah.
Put it on.
I'm sure there's a DVD box.
No
set.
turning back. Eternal torture. What's this like? Scissors sliced. My world went black. Lost my schlong. Can't get it back. Why'd the world do this to me? Nothing I can do. I can't be free. My heart's broken. Can't you see? Without my schlong, I can't be me. Eternal torture like stone.